Hi, my name is Anna Maria, and I am most definitely an overcomer by the grace of God. About 2 years ago, I had to make a really intense decision. I wasn't in a good place. In fact, when I'm challenged regarding the details of those decisions that I made back then, I always share, guys, I had to do what I had to do because I knew I was hanging off a cliff. And really, unless you kind of get yourself off that cliff, it's a long way down. I was heading for a pretty bad fall. So about 2 years ago, I was in my worst place. I was pre-diabetic, suffering from different symptoms of between lipedema and swelling, edema of all sorts. I had gout issues. It was just a whole lot going on in this body. High blood pressure. It was hard for me to walk. I don't know, I guess the list can go on. I trusted the Lord, and I was honestly joyful in my heart. However, I just was always kind of sickly. Just never feeling right, never wanting to do anything because I didn't fit into clothes the way I wanted to. I'm a woman, those things make us feel uncomfortable. I just was always challenged, and I realized a lot of it was at my own hands. A lot of it I did to myself. Self-blame, the misery from that, and the shame that I felt. Gosh, that was really difficult for me, especially knowing the Lord in His mercy, He washed away all of my shame. Yeah, I've been cleansed spiritually. But boy, oh boy, there were certain things that I was doing, choices, food choices, right? That we all make that affect us. So I had a decision to make. It was difficult. Yep. As an Italian, when you start and you declare no sugar and absolutely no grains, what do? We are a household, a family, large family. My mom, my brother, his wife, all the children, all of our extended family. We're Italian. We make our own pasta. It's somebody's birthday. We're making hand-rolled ravioli, manicotti, fettuccine. Yeah. Bread, homemade bread. We use the good flour, semolina. Help me, Lord. What do? All these desserts, all these cookies, amaretti. You guys know what I'm talking about. Those of you who don't, dang, I know you want to be Italian. No, you don't. But the bottom line is, I had to make that decision. That stuff was killing me. My lack of control was killing me. So I laid it down. I cried out to the Lord. I remember heading upstairs on Memorial Day in 21. Yep, it's just about 2 years ago. I literally prayed and I said, Lord, I'm giving you sugar and all grains. Yeah, those two things are the two things I can't control. You could potentially have a piece of chocolate and walk away from it and come back to it 2 months later, like my mother. She will take dark chocolate, have a little square, right? She'll just have one square, her espresso. She's good to go. She wraps it up in the foil, puts it away. Yeah, no. I must have fallen far from that tree because I'll eat all the chocolate and the surrounding foil. I don't put it away. I don't know how to do things in moderation. You moderate? I don't moderate. I'm going to have to be an abstainer, guys. I realize that a little bit into my walk, a little bit into this journey, that I cannot just take a small piece of chocolate and walk away. If you can, praise God. Then manage it and move forward and make the choices that are good for you. But I had to do what was good for me. I don't touch the chocolate. So I was reading, I was studying, I was doing all of this. But I never really applied it until that day came when I was just broken. And I realized I had to make a change. But for 2 years before that, because I was always studious and I had people around me, someone who I love who was doing long day fasting, like 3-5 days, I was thinking he lost it. he lost his mind. Yeah, but he also lost his stomach. And he was pre-diabetic. So I was like watching him. Then my boss, he's low carb and he's slimming down, dealing with his blood pressure. He was doing great. There was something about that. So I started to study, and right away my flesh was like, yeah, no, I had kidney stones before. I'm not doing this. Low carb way, give you kidney stones. It's going to hurt me. Nope. Why? Because my flesh wanted the treats, right? The ice creams, the chocolates, the cannoli, cookies, the list goes on. I didn't want to lay it down. But then there came that time, right? That time has to come for you too if it hasn't already come. You're going to realize that you want to live. And I wanted to live in such a way that my mom, who needs care from me as she ages, isn't going to be the one who's going to care for me. At the age of 70, I want to be able to get up from a seated position without help. These were all foundational ideas for me that kind of thrusted me forth. I didn't want to be a burden to my family. So, in my studies, I realized, yeah, I'm going to have to push away the plate. But until I was firm in that decision, I was all over the place, guys. 2 weeks I was doing low carb from 2019. Yep, I was just under 400 pounds, literally 3 pounds under. I was pushing away the carbs for like maybe 2 weeks. And then I would get in the kitchen and start, this motion here, making the bread, I loved it. And then I would just go nuts, and I wasn't faithful. But that commitment day came. I'm so grateful that it came. And I haven't turned back. Why? Because everything changed. Within 2 months, all those high inflammatory markers went down in my blood. That non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, poof, gone. 2 months. Pre-diabetes, yeah, no such thing anymore. By God's grace, everything was reversed. I knew I was onto something. The doctor didn't necessarily like it. And by the way, I don't do doctors. Yeah, no. Especially being in the condition I was in, I knew they'd start pumping me on more drugs. The fact that I was on high blood pressure meds was killing me. I didn't want to be dependent on drugs. Not at all. But I needed it. I needed that drug because I didn't want to stroke out. And especially because I wasn't doing anything about the condition rather than dealing with the source, right? I was just taking the drugs so that I can kind of level off and not stroke out on my family. I didn't want my mother to find me dead somewhere in the house. Or worse, alive and like stroked out. You know, that's bad. It's a bad idea, right? Just a bad thought. But anyway, I decided that I would go to a doctor, and that's when all those symptoms were revealed in the blood work, right? All those diseases were revealed, and I had to make a decision. I made it. 2 months clean. And then I realized, yeah, if I go back, it's just going to get worse. The weight came off amazingly. I'm so grateful. I did do the 10 months low carb, which was really good. I would eat very little berries, very little nuts. I would eat some cheese, some eggs, some meat, some veg. That's about it. Yep, no grains, no sugars. And in 10 months, it was 120 pounds. It was awesome. When I ended up going to the doctor and explaining to him why it is I made the decision that I made, as soon as he heard, ready, intermittent fasting and low carb eating, he said, "Oh, so you're not eating?" No, doctor, listen. My plan was, instead of being rushed to the hospital to get an ultrasound of my liver, which is what he wanted me to do, and I knew what that was going to be, testing, poking, probing, drugs, and God knows what other things, right? Because that's what they do. They medicate you quickly instead of, could we get to the root of it? Yeah, no. I needed some help, and I knew I wasn't going to get it from that realm. But I had been studying, right? So, intermittent fasting, I ate 2 meals, and I ate them in a smaller window. I started like 8-hour eating window, and then I brought it down to 4. And I had an amazing doctor who kept me accountable. a chiropractor who's a holistic doctor. Amazing. It was really a powerful time. But then something happened, guys. While I was journaling, by the way, I'm a firm believer in journaling. I write down what I eat, what I drink, how it makes me feel, even the time that I eat. And if anything goes off, if there's a digestive issue, if there's extra gas, I write it down because I want to see if there's a common denominator there that I can kind of weed out so that I can do better next time, right? We're always biohacking. If we're not biohacking, then we're just kind of settling, and I'm not going to do well with settling. I have to fight through, and I love that attitude. I really do. I think it's a beneficial one to have, at least for me. You do you. I'm definitely doing me. I journaled and I realized within those 10 months, I was getting horrible, consistent gas pains. I had IBS before on the standard American Italian diet, high carb. But then as I ate low carb, it was still there. It was lingering. But only, you ready for this? When I ate the veg. Yep, when I ate the veg. So I started reading Judy Cho's book, Carnivore Cure. Yep, that's the name of it, Carnivore Cure. I started reading it and I realized I need to do an elimination diet because although I came this far and I'm doing fantastic, something's got to give here. Something's still off, right? I've come this far, I might as well keep going. Let's see what's really up. That elimination diet was mind-blowing to me because after 30 days, I felt wonderful and tried to reincorporate, right? I reincorporate a quarter cup of blueberries. Yeah, don't do that. Not for me. I had gas for 48 hours. Now, hold on. Your gut biome does not have what it needs, the bacteria, to break down the blueberries, especially after that time of elimination, just meat and eggs, right? I wasn't even eating cheese in that elimination period. So I realized that I'd have to build up and repopulate the gut biome so that it can break down blueberries. No, I didn't miss them that much. I was actually feeling kind of good on the 30 days, so I did 90 days. Guys, I never looked back. I've been carnivore now. Meat, eggs, a little bit of cheese, salt. I don't really do spices. That's just a preference thing. Over 14 months. Yeah, my blood work is clean. Even had my LDL particles checked. They're fluffy. They're type A. My doctor was impressed. By God's grace, I'm good. I have found what works for me. Do I tweak it along the way? Yeah. I have non-dairy weeks. I have weeks of challenges. And if something comes up, like I think something's coming up soon, guys, I want to find the root cause of it. I want to know what's up. And I keep fighting. I keep researching. I keep doing so that I can overcome. And I want to say this, that's the grace of God. I pray for direction. And I want to tell you, that time that I told you I cried out on Memorial Day, that night, I was so broken. I want you to know that one of the things I asked the Lord was for his direction. That's when Dr. Berry started coming on my feed. That's when Judy Cho started coming on my YouTube feed. Unbelievable. I honestly didn't think it was a good thing. But as I researched it, I realized it's time for me to give this a go. And I'm so grateful that I did, because I'm here to tell you 186 pounds later. Yeah, that's the grace of God. Contoured body. It's crazy. Strength, energy. Listen, there are always going to be things I'm challenged with. There's things I was born with that I can't change. But I'm going to say this. The things that I can change, I'm going to trust in the Lord with all my heart and lean not on my own understanding. I'm going to acknowledge him in all my ways, and he's directing my paths. That I believe. I believe he's with me, and I believe that if you cry out to him, oh man, wait and see. Trust and see that the Lord is good. He is amazing. Taste and see it. He's amazing. I'm very grateful, guys. I'd like to continue to post little tidbits here and there. I'd love it if you left in the comments different things you'd like to know about my journey. And I can fill you in on what I did to kind of overcome little stalls, little challenges, different little blessings along the way, right? We can learn from each other. Lord knows I'm scouting out there. I'm looking for different carnivores, different low carb people that I can kind of glean from, right? Because I'm going to say it again. Nobody knows everything, but we all know something. Little golden nuggets that we can share and we can receive from each other. And thankfully, by the grace of God, I'm receiving and I'm growing and I'm really being blessed. So, you be blessed. Thank you for staying this far in the video. I'm going to try to edit it to the best of my ability and put it up, and hopefully it'll be a blessing to you. I will talk to you soon. May the Lord bless you and direct your path. Take care, okay?